This episode of the Artsy AF podcast is brought to you by LostSailorLeather.com. Lost Sailor Leather is the artwork of Jared Michael Trantham. He's a fourth generation leathersmith artist, and he's sponsoring the podcast by making a bunch of keychains for us. We have leather keychains with the Artsy AF logo stamped into them with all these crazy colors, and you can find those on our website at artsyafpodcast.com. John and I have them on our websites as well at andrewnorrisarts.com and johnspeaker.com. Jared makes all types of wearable art and more. He has wallets, belts, vests, and he also does things like whiskey flasks, keychains, as we just mentioned, and even journal covers. I myself have a belt, a wallet, a keychain, and a journal cover. I highly endorse his product. He does a great job. He's a great artist. You can also hit him up for some custom pieces. A lot of things I didn't mention here, but he can pretty much make anything. Dog collars, human collars, if you're into that, just holler at him. You guys go support him. And right now, if you go to LostSailorLeather.com, you can take 20% off your entire order if you use the code ARTSYAF20. So go on over and support our homie. Thank you, Jared, for sponsoring the podcast. And check out those keychains to support Artsy AF.
Welcome to another episode of Artsy AF.
Thanks for being here.
This week's episode is with Kaliptus.
Kaliptus is a painter, a teacher, a digital artist, all-around badass dude. His art fuses elements of ancient mystical spiritual traditions with the modern and futuristic algorithms of technology.
Yeah, it was exciting to talk to him. He's always looking for the next thing and how to manipulate and use different technologies and fuse them together and create teams to create gigantic projects and big hopes and dreams, and he's actively working towards them.
He has a lot of badass ideas. We talk about... we should mention that this is our first Skype interview.
Skype.
And with any luck, we will be uploading the video of this to YouTube around the same time that we upload the podcast, so Monday, tomorrow. Well, okay, sorry, probably later in the week we'll be uploading that YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be up
video.
sometime this week.
We'll
post
we'll let
it.
you know. You guys follow Artsy AF Podcast on Instagram, right?
If you don't,
sure you do.
If you don't,
you
do.
Slam. If you don't, you do. But no, slam that follow button, and just that's where we kind of throw updates on what's happening.
Oh yeah.
And so this episode should bring a lot of value into your life in terms of things to think about and where art and technology are taking the human imagination and where the human imagination is taking both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Kaliptus has a firm foot in both the academic world and the, he's been around live painting for a minute. And we think you guys will find some value in this one. And we just wanted to let you know that if you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, I don't know if Spotify has one of those.
No.
But if you can rate and review us on your podcatcher, wherever you're listening to us, please do. It helps us get into the ears of more and more people and spread the good word of art.
Help us spread it across the lands. And as always, please, if you guys have any questions, email us at artsafpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. If you've been following the podcast, we do little just me and John episodes where we chat about stuff kind of that's going on in our brains, and then we read questions from the email bag. That's right. We have a bag. We still get emails in the bag.
Yeah, we print them out and then put them in a bag.
Yeah, and we shuffle them up like a Powerball spinner. And sometimes your email pops up, and we always read it.
And we'll give you some really, really great answers.
Yeah. They'll be snarky. They'll be informative. They'll be full of love.
Long-winded.
You bet. But yeah, and also, if we don't have any sponsors just yet, and so if you want to support the podcast, we do have Artsy AF t-shirts on both mine and John's website.
Yeah.
Just go to our website and search Artsy AF t-shirts. We also have keychains provided by Lost Sailor Leather. And I'm sure you'll actually, he is kind of a sponsor, but it's more of like a per keychain basis.
Yeah.
So if you're supporting us that way, we thank you. And thank you guys so much for the big response on the first day that we dropped the t-shirts. We sold 15, I believe.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Big shouts to all of you. So yeah, without any further delay, let's jump into our first Skype podcast. You're going to hear a few little glitches, but that's on brand here for Kaliptus and his technologically based art.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful how he's like talking about glitching out a file and then the feed glitches at the same time.
Yeah.
Something poetic about that.
We hope that we didn't miss much. I don't think that we did, but
nah, you could follow.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You guys are smart. We believe in your intelligence, and thank you again so much for listening and supporting us.
Oh yeah. Shall we launch her?
Let's launch her. 3, 2, 1.
Shout. Bling, bling, bling.
I think we're going to record video too.
Cool. Awesome.
So yeah, if you're comfortable with that, we'll
yeah,
just do
that's
that.
Cool.
Right on.
Sure.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, you're gonna be our first Skype guest,
Nice.
as well as our first video. So
I'm excited.
You look great.
Yeah, you do. You're looking fantastic today, my friend.
Cool. Well, I figured you guys were gonna do video, and I kind of like put some art up over here.
Hell yeah.
These two are new. This one's like a few months old, and then I'm trying to wrap this one up here. It's gonna take me probably like another 2 weeks.
Right on.
But yeah.
Looks awesome.
Trying to kick into 2020 with some more prolific, fresh energy. I'm really digging the Year of the Rat kind of abundance energy. Seems like the Chinese love that sometimes more than the Year of the Dragon because it's like good for business, abundance. It's luck for all the signs and just a little bit more luck for the Year of the Rat people.
Huh.
So I'm excited. I was born in 1984. I'm Year of the Rat. I'm ready.
Right on. Back in alignment.
What are your Chinese zodiacs?
I don't exactly know. I was born in 85. I thought I was.
I think you're an ox.
Ox. Okay, cool.
I think so.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and rat and ox get along well too, which is awesome. And then, what are you? What's your zodiac?
I don't know. I was born in 87.
87. Oh man, I'm sorry. I don't know. I know the one's close to my number because I check it. 87. You might be a rabbit. Maybe I'm wrong.
Ooh.
I would have to check that out. Yeah.
You've got big rabbit energy.
But it's going to be a good year for all the signs, regardless, all the way around. So, and it seems to, because of the alignments and stuff like that, seems to last. Anyways, it's Chinese superstition. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to like hope. I'm just going to make the best of it. You know, I'm going to like. I made a choice. I'm going to make the best of 2020, and yeah.
So what are you feeling? You just feeling like a fire lit under you, just ready to go?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I mean, just to kind of just, give you a little bit of a sort of background idea of where I've been at recently. I've been painting a lot. I have some art in Philadelphia Visionary Arts Gallery in Philly. Right, but I've also been teaching at NJIT, been, teaching digital design this year. to second year students, and it's been really exciting. It's just really cool to see that all these like young cats like are also like chirping balls and like getting super inspired by the universe, and they're not even like aware of like Alex Gray or like, I mean, some of them are, I guess maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But they're, you know, all going through that caterpillar diving into the cocoon phase to become a butterfly. Yeah. And that transformation phase is so fun. It's so cool. And it inspires me back. It's been inspiring me to like learn new software. Like I've been playing around with, like Substance Painter and like Unreal Engine 4.
Right.
And
wow.
It's still fun, man. But
so how many kids do you teach?
This semester 17, but last semester I had a class of I think 21.
Wow, yeah. Nice.
For like I think it was simulated environments with 21 people, and then I think character development was 19 people.
So, what kind of software are you teaching them? And I'll just alley-oop this question on there too. Do you use software in conjunction with painting as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, look, for my own work. Well, I mean, look, I mean, you know, there's the bread making stuff, which I usually, you know, I mean, half of it gets paid through my design work. Half of my life, kind of like my finances get figured out through the art. And I think the difference between art and design is, you know, art is a surprise, and design, you kind of plan for it and you come up with something and you make it. And so in the design umbrella of what I do, well, you know, in the past I've worked for like Alex Gray, Stephen King, Marvel, Zuda Comics, you know, Interscope.
Damn.
You know, I look good on paper, you know, but, you know, but at the same time, I've always pushed my own vision, my own idea. Like, here's what I believe in. Here's what I want to show to the world. This is, you know, what I feel strongly about, while at the same time taking on these jobs and trying to get paid. And, you know, I have a kid and stuff. You know, and college debt, you know. But recently what I've been doing is I've been more so exposing my kids to a bunch of diverse possibilities. So I'll show them Maya, ZBrush, After Effects, Photoshop, whatever, you know, and they'll come at me with Blender or Houdini or Nuke or, you know, 3D Max. And it forces me to study them all a little bit, to know everything of what's going on right now. And so it puts me in a different kind of headspace, puts me in a sort of faculty-driven learning space. There's no bullshit. There's no ego. There's no guru at the end of the tunnel telling you to go, you know, bully some non-positive people or some bullshit. Like, there's no Scientology behind it. There's a faculty of people. They take votes on shit, you know, and we make each and every class better and better based on data, you know. And so I'm there to just teach design, and I tell my students that I use, you know, the computer and softwares and design as a sandbox for my painting. You know, they see my Instagram, they see my art. But more often than not, I'm teaching them tricks. I'm teaching them, you know, like 3-point lighting, you know, like multi-pass compositing and rendering, so that you get the most out of your, you know, digital scene. And then that helps my art to be, you know, at the level or at the standard of like what maybe these like Hollywood things, which look really good. Maybe the storyline isn't that good nowadays, but like visually, like things like, you know, like Endgame, or like movies like I mean, there's a lot of good shit coming out. Like, I thought Dark Crystal was really good, and you know, and recently I thought it was you know, a more obscure but recent release on Netflix, Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
So awesome! It's a remake of an old 1986 anime, which used to be gory and bloody. Super spiritual, it's all about the universe being inside of you and you channeling the energy inside of you to, you know, evolve. And they remade it as a 3D anime, and it's like, in my opinion, the best remake of what anime could be as 3D. And they use all these tricks that I'm teaching my students, like 3-point lighting, you know, like you know, rim lighting behind a character, key lighting in a face, and then diffuse lighting for the rest of the body. You know, where the key light is where you get most of the specularity, and maybe you could use a little bit of a warmer tone, and like use like a dimmer light for the body, so you have a little bit of a gradient, and then you do an outline around the character, a rim light behind them, a backlight. and then they pop more. They make 3D more 3D, stuff like that, and using multiple passes. But man, some of my students are trippy. Somehow they data mine the heck out of me. They start calling me Kaliptus. They don't even call me professor anymore. It's great.
Yeah.
It's funny how things happen. But I'm painting nonstop, man. I've been, this year so far, which has only really been a month and a few days, I finished like 6 paintings.
Whoa, nice.
I sold two, and I have art in Philly, it's in the gallery, the Visionary, the Philadelphia Visionary Arts Gallery, and they're awesome over there. They're super chill. And I believe Kurt still has, or Ryan Connell still has some of my paintings. I'm not sure. I heard about New Conscious. They're setting up a new space. How's that going? You interviewed Kurt recently, right?
Yeah, we had him on last week, and I went out there last night. And
cool.
Yeah, new space is looking pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool, man.
They have like a venue side and just an art gallery side, and they're both kind of like long hallways. And
I saw the photos.
Yeah,
I mean, the photos. Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah. I'm great. They're still doing their thing, and I hope they invite me. And I've done 2 shows with them in the past. Yeah. And I would love to do another one. Let's see. I don't want to self-invite, but let's see what happens.
Shouts.
So like with your personal work, it's so versatile, and it has this like feeling of digital, but also this organic. You have like spills and everything. Like, do you have a feeling of like a purpose or mission with what you're doing on the canvas?
Yes. Well, I mean, like more often than not, like I'm trying to bridge the intuitive with the technical to create works of art that reflect upon like the transpersonal realms of consciousness. When I say transpersonal, I'm kind of quoting Stan Groff. He's an old psychotherapist, who's used psychedelics to sort of heal people, and the idea that transpersonal. That it's beyond the self, beyond, and then personal self. And so parts of consciousness, they're ideally visionary or memories that maybe are memories, maybe they're not, maybe they're just visions, but things that you experience in that state and not in the real world. And so like a phosphene is a good example, which is a scientific word. So I'm kind of driven by scientifical terms. The word phosphene means a light that can be perceived but cannot be measured by a physical apparatus. Huh. And so, we have visionary experience like at night when we dream. We were self-luminous in that sense, in that we dream. We paint a whole picture with light, and we experience it. When we're sleeping, we experience interdimensional reality. And so I kind of, when I paint, I'm more interested in the dream realms, particularly like hyperspace from deep meditation. I've experimented with sense deprivation, flotation tanks, in the past, psychedelics.
Are you not taking psychedelics anymore? Are you taking a break from this? It's all relative, I suppose, but
here's the deal. I do. It's just not all the time, like twice a year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like not like in my college years.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you just exploring and carving out those spaces? I found as I got older, it's a little more exhausting to revisit those deep trip spaces too often,
You're doing, and you're working at a festival, and you have to be there before the festival starts for setup, and you got to tear down, and somebody gives you a tea with the mushrooms, and somebody else, hey man, I missed you, and they give you 2 tabs, and then next thing you know, you smoked a ton of pot. And then if that's like every freaking festival tour season, after a while, you're going to have 1 or 2 trip ups. They're going to drain you up. You're going to lose merch. And for me, one of the reasons why I took a little bit of a break with live painting at festivals, doing a festy thing, was because I felt like it started to become a little bit of a soul-eating activity recently. And it was so enriching in 2014, 2015, 2016. And I hate to sound cliche, but when Trump became president, not that I don't attribute this to Trump, but around 2017, 2018, there's just more division in the air, more left versus right in the psytrance community and the bass community. And I just saw a lot of bullying, and I just kind of stepped back, and I'm like, all right, time to I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I don't need to continue live painting. Like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna like fucking, have a kid. That's more important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna try to like get better at painting. We could always get better. Like,
Exactly.
even
Absolutely.
Alex Drake could get better. Anyone could get better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but I'm feeling confident that this year could be really cool to re-explore new horizons.
Yeah, totally.
And,
yeah. Well, it's like,
really,
you're grooving on one thing and nothing lasts forever, So you have these genuine experiences doing something, and after a while, maybe it doesn't mean as much to you, and it's time to move on and see what else you can carve out and explore, Keep expanding and growing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like, for me, like I felt like, well, like if I just keep doing it, like, it's like, it's gonna eventually take away from the soul, take away from the quality of the work.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's very important, for me to just recharge sometimes. Maybe I'm a little bit of an introvert at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, it helps me to sort of, just experience a little bit of like self-reflection without always receiving the input of the culture,
Mm-hmm.
and the ego boost, It's like, oh, you're the best.
Yeah.
But in reality, am I? I mean, like, I could be better. If I believe I'm the best, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna get better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of great work out there, man. I see, just a lot of cool stuff. Like I follow, for example, like Corridor Crew on YouTube, and they, review a bunch of visual effects from just anybody who comments on their YouTube and says, hey, I have a scene that I want you guys to review. How do you guys think this was made? And I see how much care and how much, like hundreds of people in a studio work on a scene for some of these things. And I would love to bring some of that higher level of craft into the visionary psychedelic art scene.
Absolutely.
And recognize it requires more than just the idealism. You need to be a bit pragmatic. Sometimes you need to step back, take care of like the renewal of the IDs, the health stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just got, mouth surgery because, and on that note, never assume your injuries, because I thought it was a wisdom tooth. And,
what was it?
Yeah. Long story short, when I was 17, I pierced my tongue. I had a bell thing, like a stick thing made of metal.
Yeah.
And I used to chew on it, and it like chipped the tooth. And then I got a filling. When I was 19, I got the filling done for the chip because I started to get a cavity. And then I was living with this like filling forever. And recently, apparently, it got reinfected, and it's right next to a wisdom tooth that hasn't fully grown. I assumed I had a wisdom tooth issue, and I had this major infection, and I had to go to the dentist. And they, wow, it hurt because they gave me like 12 anesthesia shots to numb the pain.
Damn.
But then like they extracted the tooth, but then they had to pull out all the pus from the abscess, and they like stabbed all the way down through the gum, all the way where the thing was poking out through, like you see it like the skin poking lower. And then they turn 90 degrees. They turn 90 degrees, go deeper, and then they do this twist thing.
Oh.
That's what hurt too. That was like mafia stylized pain.
God.
My feet going up, like my feet flying up in the air, and I'm like, oh, and then he do it again. Stab, like it pierced. The pierce damage was tolerable. The like 90-degree turn pierce again. Okay, not bad. But that twist, the anesthesia didn't do shit. The painkillers did not do shit for that twisting fucking pain.
Fuck.
And I will say this: after 5 or so twists, they got all the pus out. I will say this, man: extreme pain is divine. It's really weird, man.
Yeah,
like
I was gonna ask.
Go through,
yeah, like what was that experience?
Pain, you realize like there's no room for bullshit.
Right.
You destroy the ego right there, and you realize wow, like it feels really blissful to not have the pain, and then you're super grateful for just like being healed, and you put a lot of things into perspective. And for me, the whole thing was very, very, for lack of better words, very, very spiritual.
Yeah.
Nice.
The whole experience.
Did you have any visions as the pain increased?
I did. Well, here's the funny thing. I had been gargling the pain away with salt water for months.
Mm-hmm.
I had been kind of doing the mind over matter thing, because remember, this is a cavity from a filling that I've had since I was 19. I'm going to be 36 in April, so I've been fighting this thing for a while. And it just started to get rampantly worse in September, and then I would meditate it away, gargling salt water. As cheesy as it may sound, the crystals healed. The salt really was purifying it for a while, and then it would go away for a month and then come back again. It would be like on a night that like I would just pass out with like corn chips in my mouth, like forgot to brush my teeth, passed out on the couch, and then just crawled to bed and passed out. Those were terrible nights for my teeth, because then it just the shit would just reemerge. And so I would reheal it again rampantly. When the pain would come, I would like gargle with salt water and the pain would go away. But for some reason or another, like my mouth just started to swell up like at the beginning of this month, and I couldn't open my mouth anymore. So the visions came here. So you're asking me, did I have any visions? And so towards the weekend of right before last weekend, it was Friday night. I was, sort of like leaning down, gargling with salt water and trying to get the salt to sort of disinfect the swollen infection. And I see this giant holographic Shiva, like Lord Shiva, like the Hindu god.
Damn.
And he's like blue white, right? And he literally comes up like this, and I swear to God, bro, like it fucking goes into my teeth, and he goes like this, and then I start to like bleed from the salt gargling.
Whoa.
And this side of my mouth deflates, and all this yellow brown stuff just starts pouring out, and I deflate.
Whoa.
And but the other side, the lingual side, was still swollen. So I'm like, fuck, I burst this side, but I didn't burst the other side. And so I felt almost like I was saved, because if that hadn't happened, it could have burst deeper in, and it could have gone into my bloodstream, and then I could have gotten yeah. So it was interesting that the freaking swear, like vision happened and that happened, and the synchronicities, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the whole time after, I guess, since 2008 and since a bunch of psychedelic experiences, I do have like a certain connection to the, I guess, Hindu like deity energy realms of consciousness. Like I totally relate to like Ganesh, and like, anytime like I'm dealing with like extreme like anything, like I kind of ask for guidance, and it's just a reflection of myself. It's it's a part of my higher consciousness, and it just I just sort of align myself with like the Ganesh, like Lakshmi, Saraswati, like a lot of these like light and love type deities. Also the Egyptians, like Horus. just any deity that I feel like Kuan Yin or the Buddha or anyone who represents light and love at a pure level, not preaching it and then boasting ego and corruption, but truly pure. I totally relate to. And so it's not like I'm not surprised that happened, but and it was sober, and I had been asking for help to Ganesh, but it was Shiva that showed up. I was thinking of Ganesh, and but like and like I saw like a eyes closed vision of a blue hologram outline, like white blue of Shiva, giant meditating, and just rips it open, But I almost felt like he didn't do the other half because he didn't want to just spoon feed me. He was like, no, because if I fix that, you're never going to get your mouth fixed.
Right.
Fucking, because you're just running around doing all this crazy shit, and you don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like kind of grounding you into, adult reality, for lack of a better word, like having to take care of the problems that arise through the means that we have, rather than... that was a divine experience, but you can't always rely on those. You gotta contact your own thing, and like
it's always the balance between the two.
Yeah.
Physical
and as immature as this may sound, now that I got all that pain out of the way, I feel like I don't have to prove to myself anymore that I'm like, I could take it. And I know that's dumb, but
you're a tough
I was
motherfucker.
kind of riding this dumb wave where I was like, I don't have to go. Like I could just do it mind over matter. And I think that the bigger lesson learned was don't assume your injuries and don't wait for shit to get extreme. Just take care of it. live longer, live
Totally.
healthier, live a more blissful of life. You don't have to fucking suffer. You don't have to torture yourself with pain for no reason. And you're gonna piss off the dentists. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck, bro? Why'd you wait this long?" You know? They're gonna be like, "Now what are we gonna do?" They're all confused, scratching their chins because they were tapping on a tooth and it didn't hurt. But then they see my face, you know, so it's in there, and they're like discovering new shit.
And they got to bring out the mafia tools.
Dig around, to figure out where the pus is going to come out. Anyways, I'm done. No more of that. That's.
But while we're kind of on the subject of spirituality, and we've already talked about technology, a lot of your paintings, to me, seem to sort of be bridging this gap between technology and the spiritual symbolism of like Eastern traditions, for example, or Egyptian traditions. I don't know how to form this as a question exactly, but maybe just talk about the compare and contrast those two things and where they overlap in your art, and maybe just Venn diagram of reality in general.
For sure, man. Well, thank you that you noticed that, and I mean, in one sense, I'm a product of, the Petri dish of 1984. I was born in 1984. We had an advent of technology rising. We had personal computers literally, emerging in 1984, and then Windows 95, and then the internet, and then we did the switch from, broadcast to digital, and when I was in college, we did a switch from 2D animation to 3D. So there's all this fast evolution going on in our lifetimes as 80s kids, particularly. And so, with the advent of psychedelics, you throw that into the mix, and then you kind of create an array of hyper learning a little bit. For me, it was like that because I went to college and I'm tripping in college, and then Cosm was right there. And then, and then I met some people, and then we were doing visuals, and I VJ'd for a while too. And that was also technology driven because we're using projectors and, at the time, DVD mixers. But then I shifted over to digital, which was VDMX and Mad Mapper, doing mapping for festivals along with the live painting,
Nice.
Mad Mapper's awesome. But I'm just really playing and having fun, and I think ultimately exploring as an artist, just sort of like, hey, I had all these ideas, and let's just test some things and see what happens. But ultimately, a lot of the times when you see those like, Buddha robot paintings that I'm drawing, or like the hologram machine temples and things like that, I think it's safe to say that those particular ideas originally started when I took a massive amount of LSD in California. I got booked by, Global Village. They were the Deco crew, Jason, Ivy. But they got booked by Paul Scott from Pulse SF. And
nice.
Pulse SF, booked us out there right after Burning Man. And to do visuals and to set up a bunch of deco, and it was an amazing festival. I mean, the vibes were, there was like 3,000 people on the dance floor as far as I could see, and there were like other stages, and there was like a pirate shit-based stage, and so we were, in charge of the psychedelic trance stage, and a lot of the artists from Boom, and a lot of the international scene, not just the West Coast scene, but a lot of the people who love psytrance who fly around Europe and internationally following all the artists. They had come to that party. So the vibes were a little different. There were different types of people there. There were like 90-year-olds walking around with this like Asian aesthetically beautiful, almost martial arts gown and umbrella. and I felt like, because I was, before we get to that, my buddy who took me there, Leland Berman, he, dosed me, and I'm doing visuals, and I'm like, oh, wow, all right, can you check the gear for a second? I'm going to go lay out into the desert for a bit, because at the time, Stonyford, California, where Foreverland was taking place in 2014, fall equinox, there was like a drought. There was no rain, and the river had been like sort of like evaporating and getting smaller. So there's all this desert area with seashells, which is really surreal, walking around on a desert with seashells, because it used to be a river. And so I got totally away from everyone and the music and the lights, and I was pure blackness. And I lay by the little bit of pond that was left, and I laid down, and I look at the stars, pitch black, nighttime, and my L is kicking in, and I'm just like looking at the stars, and the stars are like doing all this like weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the stars, and I start thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm laying out here. I'm going to get stung by a scorpion, bit by a snake. And this chatter in my mind starts laughing at me and says, oh my God, do you think we're going to kill you now? And we dragged you all the way out here, and you think we're going to, totally take you out now? And there's like this laughing coming from the stars. And all of a sudden I feel like the starlight is going into my eyeballs, and I'm like downloading information from the universe, and all of a sudden I hear this narrative in my head, and the narrative just kind of automatically starts like, and besides, when you're in alignment with the Enlightenment Galactic Federation, I'm like, what? And also these like Buddha robots are like stacked,
wow.
And they sort of fade in, and I'm like rolling through, like laying down through like all these Buddha robots, and they're taking me like apart. And they're taking my old self apart and putting me back together as a Buddha robot.
Yeah.
As they're explaining to me that when I'm in alignment, when humanoids are in alignment with the Enlightenment Galactic Federation, whatever that means, this is just great, that they somehow, attain universal worth in the eyes of these designer gods, and so they, I guess, achieve a sort of like obtaining of this. Archival of overmind technologies, this light tech, hollow transhumanism of where like of like a pleroma of like consciousness-based technologies or hyperdimensional toys that help advantage living conditions on Earth. And so the idea is, you could like if you're a good person, you get a light body, so you keep your memories, and you when you die, you retain your I guess like a holographic version of yourself, kind of like, as cliche as this may sound, like Obi-Wan Kenobi's hologram body at the end of the Star Wars movie Episode 6, the old one, when they're all hanging out by the fire and they're all holograms. So that'd be like your basic body. But then like, let's say, you do a little bit more, kind of like in a capitalist system with money, you can get a new car, a new boat, a helicopter, whatever. And so in this sense, you would be sort of rewarded with higher bodies based on the idea that form follows function. And so when you generate more consciousness than the human body can handle, you need a new body. And so, and so here, some of these, all of a sudden this like giant Metatron body just appears at the edge of the water on the hill. And I'm like, and all of a sudden like, these particles start filling around my arms, and I'm like inside this like ginormous, almost like Gundam. It's not Gundam. It was like a mech hologram Buddha, well, in my mind, it was the Metatron version 2.4 or some shit. And it just fucking went super fast. Once I was in the center of that thing, I felt like the vertigo of moving forward really fast. And then coming back around and waking back up in my body from a daze, and then just seeing that just dissipate as white particles, like hologram particles, and just thinking to myself, like, oh my God, did I just take like a Metatron body for a 3-second ride across the galaxy and back?
Damn.
It was,
but
awesome. It was so like realistic and Blu-ray HD and like so vivid. And I wasn't thinking about any of these things before. Mm-hmm. So that was really weird to me. But then there were definitely like certain cliches in the visions, like certain arcs that reminded me of an iMac computer in the machinery of the Buddha robots. There were definitely certain design elements that felt like they were borrowed from today's culture. Definitely the Buddha's face with the little Gautama Buddha knots. Incorporated with these sorts of like rectangular but yet curved, beveled edged sorts of aesthetics that also remind me of like, Steve Jobs kind of look, But to me, I also felt like this part of consciousness was using whatever visual linguistic system that I had attained in my life to borrow, to communicate to me ideas that were bigger than the vision that I was having. And so my visuals were limited in that they weren't the bigger message. But at the end of the day, it's hard to speculate what the fuck happened aside from really tripping balls and getting a crazier trip from staring at the stars, and then coming back all weirded out, and then people in the crowd reacting to it. See, the weird thing was this: when I came back and did visuals, everyone can sense something. Like it was like all of a sudden, like people are like throwing you like that Asho Rajneesh energy, where you're like,
whoa, charged up.
Hold on. You feel all this like weird. You're like. You feel lucky and you feel all this light and shine, and then people start to sort of like bless you and indirectly, and I'm glad I got a soft landing from that.
Yeah. You didn't come back with any sort of messiah complex or anything like that, which is always good.
It's cool for you go for a ride, you go for 2 rides, you use it for important things like a loved one is sick. You charge up that energy to fucking heal a loved one. Great. But one thing that I found, for me at least, is that, the same way that you could like fuck yourself up with too much repression, you could also fuck yourself up with too much luxury. And so I find that the best evolution for me, the best rising, has to come from the center, from a sort of middle path orientation. And that doesn't mean like the duality of being half healthy and half like rotten. That's left path thinking. That's on the left, for me at least, that's left path thinking. But I do, think that, we don't have to fight for anything. We just have to chill. We have to learn how to just like figure out how to make things better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Don't push. Like don't push, don't pull. Stay in that center space, aware and present, so you could be used. Your body can interact without like friction with reality.
Yeah. You don't have to you don't have to hit the brakes so hard all the time, or I hear that, and I think maybe we there are times when reality demands for us to push the force full throttle, I would imagine, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a sci-fi scenario, but it would be like a cool idea where this giant meteor's coming and everyone uses their vibe power to like force the meteor to like divert away from crashing the Earth. There's times I think when like in that kind of thinking, there are times that call for extra force, but I think that the times that we have today call for like centering.
Exactly.
And I think that there is a rising, there is a I guess lifting of the vibes through the center. Like I feel like there is this sort of like slow, blissful, but I think because there's so much like history, and because we've gone through so much as a species, like we are being uplifted, and we need to learn how to just chill.
To let it happen.
Because like regardless of our realizations collectively, we still have to go through the hard work of resolving these issues.
Right.
Like, we were monkeys swinging from trees not too long ago, and it's like no wonder like a lot of us in these different ways have realized our own Buddhahood or realization of God, but there's still like this nuts and bolts work that we have to do, because we all come from different versions of trauma, learning how to communicate, resolve conflicts, and understand each other. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we look at these political pendulums of left and right extremism, you really get some perspective into how blinding it could be to totally give up one's individual empowerment for the polarized cultural, politically correct way to be, to join that team.
Yeah,
that mob mentality cult in a sense. And it's interesting how both sides act the same. In the political aspects. You have extreme right, you have extreme left.
It's so hilarious.
Both assholes.
So creepy. But I think ultimately when you have when you're doing the right thing in a sense of like, and at least that's just how I see things. When you're doing things from the heart and you're channeling, your heart as a compass for like how you should go about doing things, and not the ego, not like, oh, I'm better than everyone, this guy's dumb or whatever. Right. And you're actually like, oh man, like, I'm pure. There's no bullshit. How can I see beyond what I'm seeing? Sometimes somebody can teach you something and you're not even expecting it.
Exactly.
And it can be a bum. It can be a homeless person, who has nothing materialistically relevant for capitalists. Yeah, but,
right.
It could be, I mean, but Yeah, I think it's a good time to figure out how to center ourselves into like sort of like when things hit the fan, you just sort of like just detach from the mess and just sort of watch it all and trust the universe. Just to learn to just trust that if you're doing things right, you're not going to get hit by that bomb, or you're not going to like, the shrapnel will just skip right over your head.
Exactly.
Like you kind of have to sort of like irrationally trust that a little bit.
Yeah.
Irrational for lack of better words. But and then I think ultimately without the pressure of fear, people then won't feel the need to get more guns, to retaliate, to have these like right versus left scenarios and things like that.
Yeah. It feels like in some way, it's like there's these really exaggerated left and right extremes, and there's like this secret society forming of loving people that you can empathize with anybody on either side. Your heart breaks for them because it's a painful place to be, extreme one way or the other. And I don't know, we're creating this like secret society with no name of like, hey, we're chilling out here in the center. It's all good. It's all love. Please join in. Let's hang out. Let's learn from each other,
Yeah. Yeah. Join the band.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting because you see like, you see it in like in college, when I'm teaching these students, they have that. Like they're, a team. They realize they're graduating the same year. There's a strong bond, and they're not necessarily a part of like, the woke culture or the woke community. And they're somehow, in some sense, at least some of the students that I've been getting are very pure. They're very heart driven.
Yeah.
And in some cases more so than the last chunk of people I've encountered just on a mass level, and like bass scenes, hippie scenes, where people are more interested in getting fucked up, stealing somebody's shoes at Cosm, or like, doing the balloons and then pissing themselves, and then everybody has to clean up because they can't, or something like that, which is okay, like we've all been there, but I mean, not the stealing shoes part. I just mean the, wasted part, the last example.
The escapism.
Well, it's like it's almost like the hope in a way that like, underground culture forms on certain values, and eventually those make it more into the mainstream. So just like your like normal kid in the world is embracing it and living these values,
I think
it's cool to see intelligent people tripping balls. It's really cool to see intelligent people tripping balls and then playing with softwares and then coming up with like ideas that actually are tangible, and and it doesn't just go down the drain. At the end of the night. Sometimes in these festivals, depends on the festival, but sometimes there is squandered energy. And I think maybe the festival scene, one way it could step up is it would be cool to see a more, crafty workshop, like everybody collaborate on a project type, research-based kind of like hub or tent or area.
Yeah.
Where maybe people are working on projects, and it's not like, oh, here's like the 6 headliner artists for this, gallery that's, and like maybe me and you will have art there, but like that's not going to include like a young 20-year-old who's really good at fractals because he's going to college and through, he's minoring in fractals and majoring in botany or whatever hell. You don't know. You meet cool people sometimes and nobody knows who they are, and then you could work on ideas that actually, excite you, stimulate your, goosebumps and things like that. And it would be cool to see something more productive where like maybe it could be a petri dish for ideas to sort of take on a deeper form at festivals. And I think it happens sometimes, but and again, there are a couple people doing really cool stuff out there. Again, all the events that I've ever done through Global Village, Pulse SF, and then my friend Kyo Uchida has been teaming up with Gordon, throwing amazing events in the East Coast here at Psyche Ground. They've been keeping Psytrance alive in the East Coast. They're doing great. There are a lot of people doing a lot of great stuff. But and they've included me aboard a few times. I tried to bring VR into the mix, where somebody wears VR and they go around. They could mess like with flowers and all this stuff, and then it gets projected behind the DJ or the band, and then whatever they see, everyone can see through the projection, and then somebody can pass the VR. So I've been experimenting with that, and it would be cool to get a bigger budget and to get like 50 VR sets. Everyone's walking around the same space, and you can slap particles around and pass, different like energy balls to each other, or use different avatar skin. All of a sudden, I'm just covered in like black and white stripes and squares and triangles.
Sounds badass, man.
Cool.
Sounds really cool.
We need a bigger budget, and but I tried it with the single VR. It worked out. I was trying to get Salvia to come out for an event. It just didn't work out. Salvia, there's a couple things happened. We lost the venue for the Forest Psytrance event that we were going to do because somebody else ended up booking it, and then Salvia just couldn't do it. So, yeah. Anyways. I'm going to try to get him out here again.
Right on.
When things work out. Sometimes you try to plan an event and just, you know what it was? It was the year of the end of the year of the pig, and it wasn't year of the rat yet. And we were trying to get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, give it another shot this year.
But we're going to try again. I think I'm going to hit up Salvia Droid again and try to fly him out from the West Coast to here and get him to do some VR stuff too.
Hell yeah.
Because the last person that I collaborated with was Eris Vista. He's also really cool. He's not as well known, but he's a VJ at Cosmos sometimes. But he's really cool, Eris Vista. And then, but the Salvia Droid is a little bit more known in the scene. And so I'm going to try to fly him out for VR projects. Maybe that'll make the Festi scene a little more diverse. And it depends. I mean, like, when I say Festi scene, I mean United States East Coast. I'm sure, when you guys in Colorado are doing great with the bass related music and bands, I know for a fact, Europe is doing great. We have like Ozora, Boom.
Right.
I kind of chose stay East, man, because I love New York. I just kind of, I have my bread and butter here.
Yeah, totally.
But I definitely plan on flying out there this year. I want to hang out in Colorado this year.
Yeah, come kick it, dude.
Let's hang out.
Yeah.
Let's make some art.
It's been 4 years since I've gone out there. I've been out there since 2016. And then I was out there in 2015. It was like twice I've been there.
You're overdue.
Yeah. You got to hang out.
So you're in New York City?
What's that?
You're in New York City?
I'm a 10-minute during rush hour train ride away from Manhattan.
Okay.
But I'm in Jersey.
All right.
But luckily I'm in Kearney, so I'm like 2 towns away from Newark. So city of Newark is kind of a little bit ghetto. So 2 towns over, everything's like super peaceful. Like, the neighbor across the street from me waves at me, doing his lawn,
That's great.
And we have the supermarket behind us. We have the school for the kid right there. All kinds of diverse food. Like, we have more food than you guys. We have a little bit toast, we get a little bit more. We get tons of pizza and all this stuff. When you come out here, man, I'm going to spoil you a little bit.
Yeah, we should.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Artsy AF road trip.
Yeah. So how old is your kid? Yeah, we do have that. Man. Yeah.
It's chilling. You guys have Black Hawk. I remember when I was out there, I went to Black Hawk, Colorado. That was beautiful, man. There's nothing like the Colorado mountains.
Oh, yeah. Incredible.
You guys are blessed with the clean air over there. We get air pollution like crazy over here.
Yeah, it's a little cleaner out here.
Yeah.
So
My kid's chilling. She's taking a coding class, and she's doing her thing, and she's,
That's badass.
Yeah, she's a Sagittarius. She's energized. She's adventurous. She's, into the art, into a lot of Minecraft. She likes to build and create. And I've included her into I do like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign once a month, where I get to game test ideas on paper with friends and family. And so some of these ideas might get turned into simulations that I program in Unreal Engine with the Buddha robot, with the psychedelic aesthetic and message and the whole 9 yards. But I get to test certain concepts through the dice rolling toolkit and organize some ideas through Dungeons & Dragons. So she's an artificer gnome, and so she plays that as well. She's level 3 now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're playing Waterdeep. We're playing a Waterdeep levels 1 through 5 campaign right now.
Awesome.
We're like 4 dragon season.
Nice.
So,
I meant to ask you earlier. What's your computer setup like? Like, what are you running? I know you were talking a lot about digital programs that I would assume take up a lot of like CPU to render things out. So just curious about like your gear and like the technical side of it, I guess.
You're gonna laugh at me because okay, well,
I mean, honestly, I don't know shit about it. So like, it's more of a question that I'm thinking of that our audience may be curious about. So.
Well, I think it's hilarious that you ask because I recently destroyed my iMac. So that's one of my computer situations. I was rendering in Maya. I was rendering subsurface scattering shader for a class for a teacher. I was teaching a private class to a teacher who also teaches at NJIT, and I fried my iMac from 2012 with a subsurface scattering shader in Maya. Okay, so I did it. So there's one situation. So now I'm using a MacBook Pro. Okay. I'm saving for Dell. I'm saving for a new machine. I'm in the process of saving for a badass computer, and I think I could pull it off like first week of March. Nice. I'm gonna have a PC, and then I'm gonna have Apple and PC because right now I just have a bunch of Apple shit, and I need the PC as well. I need both.
Nice.
Ideally, I wish I had 32 gigs of RAM. I wish I had some kind of Radeon or NVIDIA, video card with also maybe, a lot of RAM. I wish I am working on an 8 gig RAM machine
Nice.
with at least the video card's NVIDIA. But because I know how to do some reverse engineering to get renders to sort of do what they're supposed to and whatnot. I haven't killed my MacBook yet. So far, so good.
Wow, nice.
Congrats.
I wouldn't advise doing 3D renders or 2D renders or After Effects or Maya or ZBrush or anything on an 8 gig machine. I'm just being real.
Gotcha.
But these are my limitations at the time. So.
Right. Nice. Cool.
So, how long have you been making art? Like, how did you get started?
Well, I mean, in Portugal, when I was mad little, I do remember in pre-K, teachers making a big deal about the realism of these little monsters that I had drawn. And so I think I just kind of always had the hobby of sketching and drawing and kind of messing around with color and just pens and pencils. I think the earliest exhibit I could remember I was 1.5. My mom had bought all this white furniture for the living room, and then my grandparents had shipped all this stuff from the United States because my grandparents were in the United States and my mom was in Portugal, and they gave me these markers or whatever, and I drew all over the white cabinet, freaking furniture and everything. And my mom kept it. She was like, "Oh, this is actually kind of cool. We're gonna keep it." So that may have inspired some of the slight narcissism that kicks in later when you're over promoting yourself on social media. Yeah.
Cool.
I got wiped eventually for sure.
Yeah. Did you go on to art school or?
Yeah, I've been dead. Yeah. And I kind of screwed my co-signer's credit a little bit. I paid a chunk off to them. I went to School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. I went to SVA, and I did a bachelor's in 2D animation and a master's in computer art, which had 3D animation as well. But I also learned video coding, audio, node-based programming, which isn't really coding because it's graphic-based, plugging inputs and outputs and nodes and things like that. Yeah, I'm in a lot of debt because I'm a retard and I took a 2-year thesis because I'm oh yeah, I want to do a 9-minute animation, and I was only 6 minutes in at the end of the year. I ended up taking a 3rd year of my master's, so I went to college for 7 years, and then so I'm probably $150,000 debt for art, which is a hustle because at the end of the day, you don't have any guarantees.
Yeah. So everyone buy this man's art right now.
Yeah,
if you're listening.
Buy yourself a new painting.
I mean, it's a little bit expensive, I think. And the thing that pissed me off was at the end of the semester of the very last year, I realized I should have just paid my internet bill, and I should have just watched like all these tutorials online. And like, I don't regret the experience. Like, I had a really good time, but it was financially unwise. It was like, super expensive.
Yeah,
but I hope in the future they'll figure it out a better way for kids to not be so enslaved by, student debt, because it's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, at least today, I mean, there's so many great sources for free online. You could take, couple-day workshops from artists that you like and stuff like that, and you can kind of create your own curriculum these days.
Yeah, I mean, even like places like lynda.com where you pay some money, but you still get like great tutorials from people who are like licensed, Adobe Suite masters or whatever. So
and another good one too is Gnomon Workshop or Gnomonology, GNOMONOLOGY. But anyways, they're freaking awesome, because it's like you'll have the guy that directed the visual effects for the Avatar movie. You'll have the dude that's like, did the fucking, like Rick Baker's in there, and like all these other cats. And they're really good. They might like paint monsters that like, a hula woke hippie girl might say, why would you paint that terrible thing and bring that into reality? They might get stuck on that. But if you get past like the whatever concept, because and even then, their concepts aren't always going to be the best concepts. A barbarian, half tiger, half humanoid might look a little wonky, but when you look at these techniques and skills and the way that the craftsmanship sort of like evolves into something that's almost hyper realistic, but yet fantasy and powerful, that's the kind of stuff that like really inspires me when it comes to a lot of these tutorials. And then the ideas are your own. You can take that technique or whatever and make whatever you want out of it. And so, I think, but see, my problem was, I started going to college in 2002. Tutorials didn't really blow up until maybe 2007. I was already in my master's program. And then by the time I discovered them all in 2008, I'm like, wow, I should have just done the intern thing. I had already had five years of college under my belt, and like, kind of like, oh well.
It's crazy how much the internet blew up from like 2000 to 2007 and 8, and I don't know. It
went from AOL, or it went from Juarez and downloading punt, hacking. Remember that? Remember Juarez and punting, stealing something? Because I don't know. I got into a little bit of the hacking stuff for a little while in my grammar school days, because it was fun and retarded. And me and my friends would go to this website, Juarez.com, and we would download all these little packets of things and experiment with, code, I guess.
I mean, I was just on that Kazaa tip, man. I didn't do any of that hacking.
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
LimeWire, yeah, I remember that. Before that, I think we were on a Napster.
Napster.
Napster. But I mean, back in the day, the extent of it was like also like a little bit of the online gaming stuff. Like I remember playing Diablo 2 or like like Warcraft 2, StarCraft, and all that stuff for like on an old Dell back in the day, tripping balls, playing Diablo. It was just funny. Come home from late at night from a rave, and then it's 2001, and you're playing Diablo 2, and you're like a necromancer or whatever the hell. That was those were the days back in the day. And I always felt like my early acid days were very chaotic, very like I started learning how to drive, started tripping, started kind of like, online gaming, all those things at the same time, going to college, and then Cosm kind of, actually not before Cosm, but also there were these underground psytrance parties called the Pine Barrens parties, which I think were also very influential in my life and very transformative. And there were a lot of international people, a lot of diversity types. You'd see Indians, Russians, all the, Dutch, just all these different types of people hanging out together. And there was this like strong sense of the overmind effect, just sort of hovering over everyone as everyone's just stomping dirt barefoot.
Yeah.
In these like outlaw parties in the middle of the Pine Barrens. And I feel like those really kick-started my awareness of like the hive mind sort of like energy, the sort of like, everyone's connected kind of like because I mean, me and my girlfriend were connected before that, but it was always like, I always felt like, oh, if you love somebody, then you have that heart telepathy. And that's always, and that is true. And that's always deeper, but I didn't realize that, for a while, I didn't realize, on a dance floor of 350 psytrancers, that also 10 of them would be receptive to your telepathy, and would be driving the energies one way or another. And then some would be on the dark side, and they're tired of living, and they want to bring in the apocalypse or whatever they're trying to do. And the other ones would be all about like wholeness and enlightenment and love and the wisdom of living and pro-life, and want to stay here. Not pro-life in political terms, but just, being, wanting to live, and so definitely a lot of like learning went on about the preferences of people's paths, when it comes to, their current phase in reality. And, the Pine Barrens were amazing, man. Pine Barrens were great. Cosm, all that happened during my college years when I was going to SEA. And very blessed. But, again, very expensive. I could have done, cheaper with the internet. Still could have gone to the Pine Barrens. Still could have done the Cosm thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So your paintings behind you, very geometric, 3D shapes. Do you create that imagery on a computer first and then paint it? Or does that come out of your mind?
For that one, yes.
Okay.
This one, I photoshopped it. And then, this little guy, the geometry piece, I used Geo Editor. Okay. And then I probably used Maya to light it. I probably used like 2-point lighting in Maya. And then I took all that into Photoshop and then started to play. I like to just kind of like mess around with, like, use softwares the way one would use like different brush types or tones, or, like I might take a file and drive it through 10 programs sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And I'll have the most fun, just messing with it, glitching it, trying to get new color theory from a file that's totally corrupt with what's that app called, Text Edit on Apple. You could, for example, like you could open like JPEG and Text Edit by typing JPEG.txt instead of .jpg, and then open it in Text Edit. And then you can scroll down like a couple paragraphs and then start deleting the text, start typing text, and you'll see a bunch of weird symbol text. And you start to sort of glitch the data or reinterpret the data, because it's just data, and it's just the program. It's just how you control it. The format is just, how you're representing it. And so you can type art, you can type the visuals, by just typing in Text Edit and then saving it. And then you get all these, archetypes, the soul of the file of what a JPEG, what the underlayer or the iconography of the JPEG will look like. And you'll see a lot of these bright colored squares and things like that. Whereas opposed to PNG, you'll see these like diagonal, transparent rainbows and things like that. So I like to take like color inspiration from Glitch as well. And I think some of these colors in here were taken from some of the PNG Glitch, I guess you could say, data bending techniques. We could Google data bending, and which is. But then again, I mean, Adobe has the color wheel now too. If you go to adobe.color.com, that color wheel is amazing, man. You don't even need such a random approach. But sometimes I like to collaborate with the machine, see, look for happy accidents, do 100 runs, pick 3.
It sounds fun.
See what happens. Yeah.
I had no idea you could do that.
Time yeah, try it.
That Text Edit thing, that sounds like a blast. So cool. You could like...
It almost makes you feel like you're a little bit of like Hunter S. Thompson or like William S. Burroughs, one of the old guys, because you're like typing.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, you're still outputting a visual image, And you could literally sit there and type a whole story inside of a script, but it will output as some kind of pixel to just bleed through the image as bright colors and, weird scintillating effects and whatnot.
Right
a lot
on.
of op art driven stuff. And a lot of that glitch stuff also reminds me of like Navajo art, like a lot of the Hopi art, a lot of Native American, Central American art, the Huichol skulls, DMT experiences, and so on and so forth. And so when I reference glitch, for me it's less about the error in data and less about like the destructive aspect, and it's more about revealing the hidden soul of the file. And so every file has its own inherent iconography that's very much like the archetype of the JPEG, the archetype of the PNG, the archetype of a RAW file. The OBJs, they spike out. They all have diverse hidden
wild
details.
Shit, man.
So it's fun. I mean, especially you guys. I mean, if you play with this stuff, I'm sure you'll push it to areas that I haven't even discovered it, because you guys trip balls all the time too, I'm sure. And sometimes
I've never done that.
A combination of a few things could really be a petri dish for some awesome happy accidents.
Have you ever tried like encoding mantras or prayers into a text file?
Yeah,
see how that manifests.
Does it work like the water experiments? You know what I'm talking about? Like, or like what is there a different output depending on the words, or can you even draw a correlation?
There are definitely outputs.
Yeah,
there are definitely, like, if you delete, then you're going to get more of like this blacking out of data with errored pixels over it. Whereas opposed, like when you over add text, you get more of the colored pixels, more of like the, tessellated, like, almost like Mesoamerican psychedelic graphics. But a lot of times you can fuck up the file. And so that's why, it's good to scroll down a little bit and then start messing it up. The first few lines establish the file. I think it has to do with directory, and it has to do with like the dimensions of the file and all that stuff. And it's all encoded in like symbols. You can't tell what is. I mean, it's just sort of scrambled. But it's fun. It's a cool little approach, and you can, like, I've copied like Sanskrit from, the internet and pasted it in the, like an Om Namah Shivaya, and then just spam it, just hold down Command Paste, and then you save it, and then it does its own thing, Did it like, I mean, I've never created like a holy glitch or anything, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it inspires. I take a lot of color theory from some of these color variations, color combos. Some of it mirrors my own psychedelic experiences. Yeah, and very cool. I like it. It's another tool. It's another way of expressing yourself.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So what do you? So you guys are out there in Colorado. Colorado's fucking always on fire. What are you guys up to? What are you guys working on recently? What are you doing, Andrew?
I've been interested in more murals lately.
Cool.
Like I went down to Miami for Art Basel this year and did a couple murals, and I really like the idea and the feeling of working on something big and in public, quote unquote.
Oh, man.
And
I saw a few of them through Instagram, man. It looks great.
Thank you.
The one with the black and white stripes, and they're all sort of like creating that portal. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Mad props.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah.
I think I did 2 murals last year. Yeah. But I've been kind of like I've been learning a lot of softwares too, man. So, I intend to do more murals. But dude, man, that one mural that I've seen a couple of them that you did that were really fucking dope. You did a collab recently too, right? With Il Des, I think.
No.
No. It was,
that's probably.
Wait, you did a collab with who did you do a collab with recently?
Logan.
Maybe Logan Walden.
Yeah. Logan. Yeah.
I'm finishing up another collab right now with Jack Lightfoot. He goes by Taurus Energy on Instagram. Excited about that.
That one's badass.
And the podcast takes up quite a bit of our time and energetic resources a little bit, just because we're still figuring out. Like for instance, with you as a guest, I was like back in August when you had me on yours, I was like, yeah, we'll have you on soon enough, and then here we are like 6 months later, and we're finally,
we're, I know how it is.
So yeah,
we're just slow with my releases too. I think I do like one a month, one every 2 months.
Yeah.
Even that's a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you see people like Joe Rogan, and it's like every 12 hours.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
three a
I know
day
he's
sometimes.
rich as fuck, and I know he's got a team, but it's like, it would be nice to just do it all. Everything you love, just do it all. And I am a believer in that, and I'm going to try to figure out how to do that better as I get older.
That's kind of...
I think you can do it all.
Yeah.
You can do everything you want. You don't. You could do everything you want. You don't have to do anything you don't want, I think.
It's about like creating efficiency in your life, realizing what you love, what you don't like, and just trying to formulate some sort of structure so you can flow from one thing to another.
And that goes back to the what you were saying about live painting and not going out so much, because as we all know, live painting is very fun, but it is
I love it.
sometimes not very sustainable. So yeah, I hope I can speak for you here a little bit too. Like we're both like learning how to use our energy more effectively and efficiently, and doing you distilled it perfectly, man. You can do what you want to do, and you don't really have to do anything you don't want to do. And it takes a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
And so, but
meeting the right people too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I'm starting to team up with I have some friends that own a yoga studio in Longmont called Soul 19 Yoga, but yesterday I just started my first mural on a wall in one of their yoga rooms. And we're
cool.
And like we were saying, like there's something missing in this like overwhelming drugged out festival or concert experience. Like it's not quite as deep as what I was looking for. So we're trying to create events, like, hey, come to this studio. I'm going to be working on a mural. We're going to have some like food here. You can do yoga. We can hang out and talk in a gentle environment and really like, hopefully do some of that deeper work with each other and communicate and, have like the quest for wisdom and understanding be like the center point of an event,
Yeah,
just more holistic approach, because there's more than just the art and the music. It's about tuning into your body, learning how to love yourself and other people as well,
and communicate with other people, and
So just trying to experiment and see what is the potentiality of art intermingled with different activities.
Yeah, like I always wanted to do an event where like people had to play social games and they win prizes. So like imagine a select few groups of people become different teams, and then they have to go through a crazy maze where it's like, phase one of the maze, you gotta like, you get pushed into a room where it's pitch black and there's a bunch of lasers distracting you on the ceiling, but the floor is filled with like those Chuck E. Cheese plastic balls or whatever those are. Like, and like, you're not quite sure what to make of it, but you have a timer, and there's treasures buried on the bottom. And so you could grab like a Visionary Arts poster or like a little keychain or like a thing, but you might be distracted by the visuals in the ceiling or the interactivity. You might just be swinging around. And then like timer's up and like some kind of like person dressed up as a wrathful deity like pushes everyone into the next room. And it's like a maze of mirrors. And you have to like rush to the other side because whoever gets to all the way through all the phases first wins. So you're kind of racing. And then like maybe like there's traps and treasures. Like you make a wrong turn in the mirror maze of halls and there's a fucking wrathful deity dude that just hugs you and he like squeezes you and you can't run away and you have to like ungrapple. Or like another dead end might have like a little box and you get a fucking who knows, like a little Ben Ridgway egg,
nice.
Or, and then you run through the maze and then boom, you're like phase 3 and you run down a hole and you gotta like jump through like a spiraling optical illusion thing that like maybe like like you jump through a poster, but there's a hole in the wall, and then you jump in through phase 4 is like a slime room. Like you didn't even know it's pitch black. You just land in a pile of slime. Now, like,
Nice.
you know, I don't know. Just and then, like, you know, at the very end, you just fucking, you know, hook somebody up with something like an original painting or something.
Yeah,
you know, and not just murder.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like a combination of Meow Wolf and a haunted house or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And yeah, I think it'd be cool to
and then it pushes people to interact on a different level.
Yeah,
exactly.
More instead of having to play a video game for that level of adventure, you live through it physically.
Absolutely.
You know? For example, like I recently started getting into spas, and I went to the Sojo Spa in Edgewater, New Jersey. And I felt very much that maze-like journeying, adventuring kind of mind, where I felt like me and the 5 people that I was with, we felt like a party in an RPG game, or like a group of people in Minecraft with VR. But maybe I was just really stoned. But we were all walking through the water, like hovering through, and then there's like stone paths, and then there's like all these like machines with like water, and it's like Sojo floors, and it's a maze. It's literally like a maze of water massagers, pools, a rooftop pool, an indoors pool, a tunnel where you walk on rocks that massage your feet, and then another tunnel where the water's hot and it's and then like, you know, and so the whole area just feels like an adventure zone if you just explore through it. But I ended up I was like, fuck it, you know, let me take care of my body, let me go to the spa. And I sat down, I went to this sauna, this sweating room. It was like 187 degrees.
Dang.
And it was the Himalayan salt room. And I sat on a block of wood, an old Japanese block of wood, and crossed my legs and meditated there. And supposedly I was sweating all these like toxins and metals and things. And I had such a profound experience. I was like, wow, like I haven't experienced this ever. I don't get this from festivals. You know, and it was only $35 for the whole day.
Dang.
Oh, no, the weekends are $50. The weekends are $50. On the weekdays, it's $35.
Nice.
Well, when we come visit you can take us there.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We'll form up our RPG party and stack up with materia and just like go in there, dude. It'd be great.
I would definitely, you know, take you guys out there, man. And I realized, like, you know, there is that is holistic. Like, it would be cool to, like, you know, hey, let's do an event where, you know, maybe you rent out the, you know, awesome spa joint.
Yeah.
You know, that's local or whatever, and you totally support it, and you totally take care of the people, and you clean up and all, you know, you make sure everything's taken care of the right way. And you know, maybe it's a private event, maybe you only invite certain people types, but you know, could be kind of like another cool approach at adding something new to the visionary psychedelic you know, scene. Or but I've been doing that. That's loads of fun, you know. And the gym, man, they have jacuzzis. You know, I was never a gym person, you know, but I had a guest pass recently, and now I'm reapplying. In 2 weeks I'm applying again, and I'm just gonna have my own pass because man, like, you know, you work out a little bit, whatever, that's cool, you know, but then you go to jacuzzi, and that's like next level.
That's
you know?
what's up. Yeah.
Balance out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What's your gym routine right now, or when you go?
Well, I mean, I was trying to like work my dad belly.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Really, I'm pretty good right now.
Yeah,
like,
let's see it.
too bad.
Man, look at that.
Oh, wow. That's pretty flat.
I could a little more. I mean, I put it in my head when I was younger that I was gonna have all these abs, and then I never got them. And then, you know, I just, you know, fuck it, let me try. I just barely got in. It's kind of not really. I don't know. I could do better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push into it more. Once I have the full membership, I'm gonna be more toned. And I think it'll be. I'm not too bad. I could be like a fat monger, you know, be hanging around all like, what up, guys? 300 pounds. But you know.
Well, hey, as long as you're moving your body at all, I mean, it's great for aging too. You know, it's like preventative measures. You can age longer and create masterpieces later into your years. You know. Mm-hmm. Just respecting and taking care of your vehicle.
Longer you live, more cool shit you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude. But the spa things, Maybe in my 20s, I would have thought, like, that's stupid. I'm not going to a spa. But, like, now I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
It like, helps the conditioning of the nervous system, the nerves, all the, busy city life programming gets sort of, like, deconstructed in some of these, like, areas in these spa joints. But, yeah, I'll definitely take it. If you guys are out here, I'll take it to Edgewater to Sojo.
Hell yeah.
It's fucking dope.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man.
Take a fat dab before, and then we go.
Yeah, I've noticed just as I get older, I'm a lot more drawn to these activities that kind of balance me out. You know, decompress, defrag the brain and the system, and just being more careful with how I use my energy. You know, it's like that getting blasted thing was so fun for a while, but now it seems like I'm being drawn more and more to just grounding activities of just balancing out and quieting down a little bit, you know, so I can hear what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, I think it's at least for me, it's good to have a metabolic experience of, like, you have moments of peace and quiet followed by extreme chaotic moments of stress. And I don't mean, like, pain and suffering. I just mean, like, I think some stress is healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, like, for example, when you exercise, you know, speaking of the gym, you know, if I, do a couple of, like, I don't know, 16 dumbbell lifts, you know, I'm going to need to rest after that and then do it again. I can't just power through all the way. I'm going to kill my arm, and the muscle's not going to develop. It's going to get so damaged, it won't even grow. Right. So I think there's something about also, like, with breathing, like, you breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And so I think that the challenge is finding a fine balance that works for you, because we're all a little different. And I think finding the balance between the right amount of rest and the right amount of activity that can be a little bit like some people call for a little more hyper extreme, like mountain climbing or snowboarding or, you know, skateboarding, whatever it is, you know, scuba diving, you know, anything that requires the adrenaline to kick in and all that. And then followed by, like, a super mellow Zen meditation in a 187 degree Himalayan salt, you know, spa room. And I think it's good to have a little bit of, like, the oscillation of both.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But
totally agree.
But I hear you, man.
And,
the
like,
centering aspect is important.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like you're when you take the initiative to invoke this period of physical stress, it's like you're choosing to experience stress on your own terms. So then in your daily life, you're going to be much less stressed. Like, you can't get away from stress, so how can you formulate healthy ways to work with stress, you know?
It's like meeting it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it ties back to that whole thing of, like, doing what you want and then not doing what you don't want, and then taking the stress that you want and then not stressing for shit that you don't want to stress about.
Exactly.
You know? I think sometimes it could be like, you know, if you're doing yoga and you want to hold that pose a little longer, you know, that kind of stress, you know, you're going to feel like you earned it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but as opposed to, like, you got pulled over by the police, you're taking a dab hit and you're going cross country, you got, you know, whatever, you know, and now you're stressing that they're going to arrest you. That's not the kind of stress that I want to go through.
Hell no.
But I think I feel bad for. I have a couple friends that, you know, got in trouble and do stupid things and whatnot. I try to learn from their mistakes, you know, and it's no fun, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
if that ever does,
shout out to anyone who's out there, and, you know, got in trouble, and I hope that, you know, people out there who I know got in trouble, stay safe. Just some shout outs.
Yeah.
People in jail.
Big shouts. Big shouts. We're thinking about you still.
Yeah. So
I don't want to put spotlights on people, but
yeah. We know who
but
they
he's
are.
a friend. He's a collector. I have a friend out there. He's bought 10 paintings. I hope he gets out soon. He's from Colorado. Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy. He's great. He's bought art from everyone.
Hell yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think everyone.
Let him out.
Yeah.
Artists need more support.
Free this man. Yeah.
So, what kind of advice would you now give your younger self?
That's tricky, man. That's tricky. I'm worried that like if I went and said something, I would fuck it up in a whole nother way. Because there's that whole weird butterfly effect of like you're kind of supposed to go through whatever you're supposed to go through, maybe, and then like if you tell yourself, hey, do this instead of that, and then you end up going through a whole nother buckload of mistakes, and then you end up having to learn the same lessons anyways, maybe.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know.
So maybe just.
I guess maybe. It's hard to say, man. I got to pick something. Probably college. Probably not going.
That was gonna be my guess.
Terrible saying that because I'm teaching. College.
Yeah.
I'm teaching college students, and they're paying tuition to hear me talk, and I'm telling you guys don't go to college, and I feel terrible. But here's the good news. At least with me, I really push myself, and I really try to give them everything, and I even give them files, and I even show here's motionographer.com/jobs. Check here every day if you want to get a job. Whatever it is. Like I'm always giving them mad shit so that they're like,
getting what they paid
totally
for,
taken care of, and they're happy and they love me, and it seems like not all the teachers over there are chill, so I'm doing the best I can, but
hell yeah.
But I don't think colleges are the best way for education at all. But it helps me right now. I have a kid now. I have a pension. I can't complain. I have a small pension. I'm adjunct, which means I'm a freelance teacher. So I'm not a part of the faculty yet, which also gives me some freedom, which allows me to paint. I might join a faculty, maybe someday, but maybe not. I could always quit too. If I could join and I could quit if I don't like it, if I'm not happy. I decide, hey, fuck, I'm done with this. But so far, so good, man. All the students are mad inspiring. A lot of cool, energy floating through the room.
Cool.
And yeah. But I got to come out. To Colorado this year. I really do, man. I had a lot of fun every time I come out there. But it was cool because you came. I saw Andrew out here at Cosm a couple years back. It was cool to see you on this side.
I don't know if that was me, man. I came out to Cosm the first time this summer on the solstice,
and I waved. It was a short wave.
Really?
You there, man?
Like this year, this past summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like 2018 or 2019, I forget.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very short because there's so many freaking people everywhere. I just kind of disappeared.
Nice.
But Cosm's cool, man. That is the hot spot here on the East Coast for visionary arts. Without Alex Gray, there's Psytrance, which is more musically driven, and they're doing the best they can, man. I think sometimes people forget that the Grays are human and they make mistakes too, and they expect them to do superhuman feats, and they're doing the best they can.
Oh man, Cosm was great.
I'm really happy we have that here, man, because without Cosm, it would be less. Definitely would have less of a powerhouse for visionary art. In the East Coast.
That place really changed my life. I was living in Philadelphia. I've only been out in Colorado for like 2.5 years now, but taking art workshops at Cosm and then getting invited to live paint there, it was life-changing. It really let me know that I could do this thing, such a supportive community there. And I think I painted at an event that you were painting at too, but I was so shy I was like so shy back then. I just didn't talk to anybody. So I'm bummed. I missed meeting you. Man.
Same. I mean, and then too, like the thing that happens at Cosm is everyone offers you goodies.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you take a sip of the mushroom tea. Next thing you're tripping. Next thing you know, you're like, all right, I need to just sort of like zone into the painting. and recenter myself.
It's your safe space.
So there's always that moment when you're like, it's like Fear and Loathing in the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors.
Yeah, right.
You took too much, But
holy chaos.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the land over there too. Like they have all these,
so nice.
Like a Buddha statue and a maze, and then Chris Dyer area and the gazebo, birdcage area, and like the
John Shook's little those
John
like
Shook,
branch
he's awesome.
mushrooms,
He's got his own area out there. He sets up a booth too. He brings out his fungi.
Fungi, that's what it is.
roll
cut out
mushroom guys that he made. He's awesome. It's a good scene. But I just, I was really hoping that Elon Musk was going to create that super train from New York to the West Coast so we could get back and forth
so easily,
like fast. Yeah, and then we would have an interchange of artists and scenes between the coasts so fast.
Yeah,
right.
That's vital for I think, just kind of boosting the whole community and the whole scene. Because sometimes airfare is expensive, trying to fly people last minute, and people don't even have IDs sometimes.
Right.
I just renewed all my IDs.
Yeah.
And that took forever because I was born in Portugal. But I'm a permanent U.S. resident, so I have like all the legal paperwork and all that stuff. Green card, passport, license, you name it. But even that was a pain in the ass to just renew all the fucking things, and it was like everything added up to like $800.
Damn. Passports are expensive, but damn, I didn't realize.
Passport was $250. The green card renewal was $500 and something. $540. Yeah.
Steep.
Yeah. Portuguese green card. Yeah.
Huh.
Damn.
Do you know? You mentioned that bullet train thing. Is that project dead? Do you know?
I don't know. See, Elon Musk likes to build a lot of hype, collect a lot of money, and then cancel a bunch of projects. And you can't blame the guy. He's
going for it.
He's got these ideas. Yeah, he just kind of is trying to fly with what he thinks is going to work, and he's a human. He can only do so much. I don't know if they're going to do that anymore. I really don't know if they're going to do the bullet train. I really wish that they would. That's one of the smart ideas. I don't think I need to fly to the moon anytime soon.
Right.
Maybe, let's figure out how to get to places on Earth faster first.
Right.
And then,
Especially in this country where we don't have any trains. That's like a big. That's a big gripe of mine. Like, Europe's got it going on with the trains, and we just. I mean, I know it's obviously a larger landmass and everything, but come on.
We just have to get to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have good train systems in the East Coast. Like from Jersey to New York, from New York to through all the 5 boroughs, and we have NJ Transit. You can go cross country ish through the NJ Transit, but it's not like what it could be. You look at Japan. You look at some of these trains in Japan, and they're flying.
Yeah,
I mean. And they're eco-friendly. They got this whole turbine system based. I mean, they figured some shit out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But one day, travel back and forth. Be like, I'm in California 1 hour. I'm in Jersey.
Yeah.
Do the California thing, and then we go right to Colorado.
It'd be amazing.
We'll fly out to fucking Toronto, Canada. Go all over the map. Zoom, zoom, zoom. That'd be dope.
One can dream.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see it in our lifetimes.
Sign my petition.
Or, let's at least, live paint in the International Space Station.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be wild.
Dude.
Let's just throw an event there,
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, it's possible,
Hell
They
yeah.
Certainly.
should just propose it to not NASA. Who runs that? It's a whole group of people.
Might as well just ask Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think SpaceX is flying people up there
Are they?
now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No one fact check us on that.
Yeah,
we
I
might
don't
be
know.
wrong.
Maybe.
That'd be a game changer, right? I mean, you have the whole cosmic skyline of what the Earth looks like as you're painting.
Right.
Feeling those cosmic vibrations hitting you right through your skull.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Wild.
Turn into a robot Buddha.
Smuggle some tabs of LSD on the space shuttle.
Dude, you don't have to. That's like bringing sand to the beach, man. I'm sure they got some up there already.
Right. Well, right, because I think Neil Armstrong was saying he was tripping balls sober when they left the atmosphere, right? Wasn't that what he was saying? That they were seeing flashing colors?
I think I've seen that quote. I was tripping balls, sober. Neil.
Really?
I don't know. But no, I know what you mean.
Well,
I know what you're saying. I'm trying to be funny.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's like just a mind-blowing experience. Probably wouldn't even need anything.
I think people's brains protect us from these like extra realities that are all around us, and then when you have such a powerful paradigm shift, like leaving the atmosphere,
Totally,
and, jolting the body across, miles a minute, Yeah.
The whole system
It
just
gets
freaks
crazy.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interdimensional gaps open and the veil becomes thin, and then, you see the DMT clowns come out.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, there's like a bunch of clowns just hanging around the spaceship, just like messing you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I love the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy approach to interdimensional travel. Like when everybody turns to yarn and they're all puking up yarn, and then everything goes back to normal. Like I would imagine that's like what would happen when you break the light barrier and then like leave the galaxy, fucking come out the other side like anew.
Mm-hmm.
I think psychedelics kind of do that already, anyways, without the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're. I mean, there's. I've been talking to a couple different people. Some people are. I mean, myself included. I think definitely we're catapulting ourselves to other galaxies. Maybe they're quantum galaxies. Maybe they're non-local galaxies, but they're definitely extra universes of experience for
Totally.
sure.
Yeah.
Do you consider psychedelics like a type of technology that kind of circumvents the need for giant spacecraft in a way? Or how do you see it? Like, what does it mean basically that there are substances growing naturally on the planet that take humans, at least in their mind, to different realms of reality and experience?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I really think we're all like cells. Like we're each cells, and like super cells, and then together we make up a super organism, the totality of all living things. And so I think the totality of all living things hasn't actually been fully born. So we're like in an egg phase. And so we're on Earth, we're in this egg phase, and this Earth is like a petri dish for like something higher. And so the universe is relying on us to build those new organs that are going to assimilate to that superorganism level. And then maybe together we're constructing or giving birth to the superorganism, to a goddess. Like together we make up a giant goddess, a fourth dimensional being. And so we're all 3D, and then together being. And so right now it's like in fetal stage, and we're figuring out what we want, what we don't want, and what it's going to be and what it's not going to be. And a fetus could die. So there's always that. There's those toxins. There's those external pressures that we don't even perceive, and things from non-local spaces that we don't even understand, maybe. And so I think psychedelics in nature, it's like the 4D self's way of like telling the 3D selves to become 4D. It's like like take the information in bits, and it's almost like we have this giant cosmic zipped file that we need to archive.
Yeah.
One life at a time, and so there's billions of lives walking around at the same time, and so we're all individuals at the same time, but we're also one consciousness. And then we're also like living in our own bubble within that consciousness. But just much like a raindrop falls into an ocean, I think all consciousness make up a totality of consciousnesses that makes up a super consciousness. And so I think we're giving birth. I think we're becoming something higher.
Just becoming more aware of what we are. Yeah, it does take forever.
Yeah. And we're humans. We're apes and we're humans. And you look at history, we've been violent. You look at the Romans, you look at, for example, like Trump attacking the Middle East. Like he just killed another guy in Yemen. He killed a guy in Iran. He kills, he reminds me, like if you study history, like if you listen to Dan Carlin, like I was listening to Dan Carlin the other day again, and he was, talking about like the Caesar Hastings and how Caesar was corrupt and everybody hated Caesar, but he did whatever, and not voted, but he's like the emperor, and so he goes through all these wars, exterminating, the Celts, the Celtiberians, the Iberians, the Gauls, French, the English, all these people, and the Italians are like, oh, we hate Caesar, he's corrupt, he's a racist, he's a bigot, whatever the hell they're calling him at the time. economy better. I'm making the economy better. I killed this guy. I killed that guy. And I feel like Trump is doing the same thing that Caesar did. And so, you know, we do have the free.
Cutting out.
Yeah. You know, but I think ultimately, if the whole system survives, we can become something even more beautiful together.
I agree.
But hey, cancer is a reality. We could turn to cancer cells, and I think that just means being a shitty human and not taking, like, you know, like for example, like I could have ditched my family, moved to Colorado, just did the ego thing, try to be better than ever, and be the #1 visionary artist at any cost. And then, well, you know, that would turn me into a cancer cell.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
You know, I would just be a dick. I would be like Tim Heidecker's Avatar personality. You know, on the what do you call it? The what is that video cinema review show that they have on Adult Swim nowadays, where he just acts like a total dick. I forget the name of the show, but I love it because it's such a reality, and he's putting the spotlight on it, and he's just totally acting like a douche.
Yeah.
and you know, in a world of social media and Hollywood and fucking likes and money, you could sacrifice everything to be that, and then fuck yourself over, fuck up the larger system of nature and the universe, which has a bigger purpose than just you know, getting booty taps all day for doing good. You know?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah.
So, so like, do you have any events coming up or anything going on where people can catch you, see your work?
Definitely. Well, like I said before, I still have art at the Philadelphia Visionary Arts Gallery. Got a couple pieces there. My buddy Keo is in the process of putting together another Psyche Ground event. So I am planning on doing a VR interactive setup installation. That's going to be an installation is going to be set up there, while I'll also be live painting. So the VR thing is going to be kind of like in a corner, and so like it'll be supervised by somebody else. I'll set it up, but it's free for exploration. And then I'm just gonna, during a certain set, probably during the headliner, it'll get up on stage, live paint as well. So that's probably going to happen in the spring, around April. Okay. We don't know the exact date yet, just because we don't want to step on anybody's toes. And somebody else ended up doing a forest psytrance party. Well, I hate to say it, but somebody stole Keo's idea and then jumped the gun and did one first. And so, but they don't have a VR thing, but they still took his artist that he wanted to book. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that too much, but you know, things happen, and the good news is my friend's super professional, and he was super nice, and he went to their party and he hung out with everybody, and he supported, and he showed face and everything. So, you know, it's the kind of guy that he is, and they took his idea, they threw a party, he went and supported, and they said, hey guys, you know, great party, and he's gonna do something a little bit more differently in April, and so I'll be definitely showing some art there, doing some things there. Definitely focusing a lot on the teaching thing now, because now it's like the peak of the semester. Really pushing to, you know, and for my students, prepping them for the SIGGRAPH event, which happens in the West Coast. So SIGGRAPH is coming up.
What is that?
And they just did so SIGGRAPH, SIGGRAPH, is an event where a lot of people who create the softwares that we're using come and hang out. It's kind of like almost like one of those like conventions for you know, program designers, animators, you know, graphics people. Companies like Pixar are going to be hanging out, and some types of, you know, studios, and pretty much recruiting students and awarding people for creating a hologram, creating you know, a robot or an animation that's really beautiful or something like that.
Nice.
SIGGRAPH. So prepping students for SIGGRAPH. We just prepped them for Global Jam Day, which is a video game convention for interactivity. It doesn't just have to be video games. I mean, it could be a medical interactivity thing where you learn how to do surgery. It could be a prepare for death meditation where you pretend you're dying with VR, and you know, it could be anything.
Sounds cool.
But
that's rad.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but Yeah. I definitely intend on, well, let's just say I've been putting a bunch of art aside for another solo soon, and I just haven't figured out where I should do my next solo.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been just kind of like staying inspired, not really pushing the paperwork around. And I think I should just get to that and do that again and email a bunch of galleries and see who says yes and just roll with that, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Look forward to seeing what you have in the show, man.
Thank you. Hey, if you guys are in Philly, check out, Philadelphia Visionary Arts Gallery. I have art there.
Cool.
And let's see what happens with New Conscious. I might come out to Colorado and maybe show there. I know Ryan had some interest in showing me again. He did mention. I know Kurt also mentioned, and I know that they've had issues in the past with certain venues and things. So, we got to be patient with such things. And I think they're doing their best as humans. I mean, we all live and we learn, and I'm glad that they're still trying to represent artists and doing it hopefully better and better every time. That's what it means to be human.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
No doubt.
So I'm excited. I want to see what Kurt comes up with. Maybe I'll come out there for that. I've been peeping out a couple galleries in Manhattan as well that are really cool. I peep out. I mean, it would be a dream to show at Joshua Liner.
Yeah.
Where fear happens. But yeah, I got to put together a proper proposal, the right body of work, and just start that whole process again. But yeah, it'll happen soon.
Cool.
Sweet, man.
Where's the best? What are the best places for people to stay up to date with you and your art? Website, Instagram.
Well, definitely check out Kaliptus on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Kaliptus. And of course, my website, artofkaliptus.com. I regularly upload work to that as well. That's kind of it. I mean, I kind of quit Snapchat because it just doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Instagram sort of has a stories feature, and I could just post, all the stories on there, get a wider view.
I'm a big fan of your stories with the polls in them, the questions.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I was doing a little bit of interactivity with some of those, like choose this, scenario or that scenario type things.
Yeah,
kind of
fun.
a little dungeon adventure. Yeah, I might do a couple of those again soon. Actually, it's a good idea.
Oh yeah.
I might bring them back. Yeah.
Well, sweet, man.
Or bring up like a celebrity and say, are they super evil or like a
super genius?
saint?
Yeah.
Super genius. Yeah.
So
I might do
guys,
those.
follow Kaliptus on Instagram. Interact with him.
Yeah. I'm
Comment.
going to post more this year. I know that like last year and the year before, I was posting like once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I intend on posting more. So I'll definitely be more prolific.
The algorithms will honor your consistency.
Yeah. Well, it'll feel good to climb hard again. Because I feel like, I'm still getting like hundreds here and there, like 100 here, 200 there, 300 there. And then some of my good ones have 500, 600 likes,
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I push the medias again this year, I could get it to like 1,000, hopefully, finally.
Yeah, man.
I'm surprised
a
you don't.
lot of our friends are doing it. Why not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing the teaching thing for now. It's been really, really fun. Monday, I'm bringing in Mad Mapper with a projector. I'm gonna show them how to do video mapping, and who knows, maybe somebody will show up in Colorado at Red Rocks, hanging out over there with some mad mapping capabilities.
Yeah, sweet.
But,
Hell yeah.
Teaching the youth.
Yeah, well, you gotta give some back,
Absolutely.
I'll probably go through a phase where I work on a huge project in the future. Right now, I'm saving money for that, so I'm also keeping note of like what the best students are, and then in the future, plan on hiring them. Be all right, we got a team of really good 8 fucking crew right here. This is it. We're gonna make a Unreal Engine 4 simulation where you walk around and it's less of a video game in a sense where you're like killing shit and getting points. And it's more of like a journey and an experience, like a good book, you know?
Absolutely. Man, that would be sweet.
Yeah, like a journey for the viewer. Yeah, let's see where it goes. I know Hideo Kojima is doing a great job with Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I know he was, you know,
he was Metal Gear.
Mocap people, and yeah, he was a creator of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
He ended up taking a bunch of actors like Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen and all these people, and he like scanned their faces and used mocap suits, and you know, he painted a whole picture, and he made a beautiful narrative, almost like a book, kind of stylized, kind of video game experience.
Cool.
And it was, you know, also very inspiring. And I think it would just be really cool. Like, imagine, you know, doing like some kind of like interactive reality where you know, get abducted by, you know, the fifth dimensional elder beings, and they test you and they put you through these trials to see if you're worthy of like saving the universe. And then you go through all these crazy trials. Now, this is what you're up against. And they show you this crazy reptile eye with like black ooze, and they're like, you have to like exercise that, and then like, you know, you go through all these missions and crazy things. And I don't know, like I always kind of wanted to make something where people have to interact with the storyline, because I feel like movies are very passive, books are very passive,
right?
Even events are very passive. You're just there listening to what the DJ is controlling, or you know, and so. I think that's what's missing also from the festival scene is the not necessarily like the I don't want to say aggressive, but interactive approach to, you know, the experiential aspects of entertainment. It's been so passive, and I think partly that's what causes people to be a little bit more, you know, sheepish.
Totally.
Because they're just spoon-fed everything, and they don't have to look around the corner for that hidden Easter egg anymore. They're just, oh, here it is. You know, it's not like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I like Easter eggs.
Well, yeah, that's cool. I mean, like, working on creative projects that stimulate that creative spirit within the people that participate with it, you know? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just recycling the creativity throughout the system and putting it right back in there. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you create. And yeah, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for having me. And I can't wait to see what you create as well, man. Those murals are awesome. And John, man, you're a great dude. You know, great to talk to you first time here. And,
yeah, for sure, man.
It's been a real pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
I really, you know, hope you guys keep doing this podcast, man, because it's pretty dope.
Thanks.
And, you know, thank you. Thank you for being yourselves. Thank you for putting this spotlight on for artists and people that are doing their thing.
Oh, yeah.
And because you're not Joe Rogan. You don't have millions of dollars.
Not yet.
We're working on it. You just wait.
Yeah. Not yet.
Yeah. Soon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
and hey, who knows? Maybe one day we'll have Joe Rogan on our podcast.
Exactly.
Right?
You know?
Yeah.
We should get JP Sears.
That dude's hilarious, dude.
Have you seen the coronavirus video that he posted on YouTube?
No.
Please watch the coronavirus video by JP Sears. I love it. It's fucking awesome. JP Sears, man, I wish we could get it. He's too up there. You know, maybe we'll get him. We'll get him one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
He's very adjacent to like people we know. I'm sure there's someone listening right now who knows JP Sears, or maybe not right this minute, but when we release it somewhere in the future.
We gotta get him to just sort of just go crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, that's actually a great guest idea.
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the days he's in Colorado.
Yeah.
Just snatch him. Just kidnap him. Put a bag over his head. Just fucking put a bag over his head. Throw him in a van.
No one will
care.
care.
In Boulder or wherever, you know.
To all the listeners out there, we do not condone kidnapping.
Yeah, we don't want you to kidnap JP Sears for us.
You can't. The guy's buff, man. He's pretty strong. Have you seen the legs on that dude?
No.
He's not fucking around.
I mean, John's got pretty muscly arms. You can't see it because of his hoodie, but
like, you know, my legs were doing pretty good too, but JP Sears a little tougher.
Yeah. He's probably tried. People have probably tried to kidnap him before. So, anyway, thank you again, man. It's been a real pleasure, and
Cheers.
on crushing it out there in New Jersey and New York.
Yeah, I'll come out, man. I'm going to travel more this year. I'm going to come out more. It feels right again to just fucking, push it and be full throttle. And I think once the winter kind of ends and spring kind of kicks in, I was born April 16th. I'm an Aries. I'm going to feel in my element. I'm a late April Aries. So I'm like, I've hit my head enough times to know not where to hit my head anymore, because I'm like April 16th, almost Taurus. So I'm like they like to say the third decadence of Aries is a spiritual Aries because it's the wiser Aries. And so late April, I'll feel in my element. I'll be more ready. I'm going to travel and come out. I'm going to visit you guys. We're going to hang out.
Yeah,
we're going to eat some delicious food.
Yes.
We're going to do some crazy things. We're going to hang out. Can't wait.
Yeah, brother.
Great,
and you guys can come out here as well.
Yeah,
we'd love to.
Sojo in Edgewater.
Yeah,
we'll meditate in the 187 degrees salt water. Himalayan salt sauna room.
Hell yeah.
I'll let you
I'm down.
Sounds amazing.
Peace, guys. Take care.
Peace.
Enjoy your night. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you
man.
so much, man. We wish you the best.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Cheers, man.
Love you.
Looking forward to see all your arts too, man. Those murals are fucking dope, man. Take care.
Thank you, man. Peace.
Later.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Artsy AF Podcast.
For additional images and notes on this episode, you can check out our website, artsyafpodcast.com.
And you can find me, Andrew Norris, at andrew.norris.arts on Instagram, and andrewnorrisarts.com is my website. I also have links on my website to episodes as well as all my best paintings.
And you can find me, John Speaker. My website is johnspeaker.com. On Instagram, I'm at John Speaker, and on Facebook, John Speaker Art.
And we want to give a special thanks to Blair Speaker, John's lovely wife and creative director of the podcast. She also updates the website and does all the podcast notes. So thank you, Blair.
And we'd also like to thank Tyler Billman. He created the music for this podcast. You can find Tyler on SoundCloud and Instagram. His name is Get Billsman. That's GETBILLSMAN.
Thanks again for listening. Peace.
Thank you.